Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing okay and welcome back again to the Old School Kitchen. For today's recipe we're going to be making a strawberry mascarpone tart. And we're going to start off by making the pastry. So for that we'll need 200 grams of plain flour, 3 tablespoons of caster sugar, the juice and zest of a lemon, 110 grams of butter, and that will need to be diced into small cubes, and 1 egg yolk. Double check the equipment list to make sure you've got everything that you need. And you'll also need to turn your oven on to 180 degrees. So we start off with our 200 grams of plain flour, and to that we add our 110 grams of chopped up butter. Next we're going to add our 3 tablespoons of caster sugar. The next ingredient we're going to add is our lemon zest. So just make sure you use the grater with the smallest blade and keep turning the lemon as you go. You want to try and avoid getting any of the white skin into the bowl because that's actually quite bitter. Make sure you scrape off any of the zest that's stuck to the blade of the grater. And then what we're going to do is take a fork and we're going to try and break up the butter into smaller pieces. What we're aiming for here is a breadcrumb-like mixture. And the reason we don't get our hands straight in and start rubbing it in with our fingertips is because we want to try and keep the mixture as cool as possible. So having broken up most of the big lumps with the fork, we now get fingers in and we're going to start rubbing in and making the mixture into breadcrumbs. We're now ready to start adding our wet ingredients. And we'll start off by adding 1 to 2 tablespoons of water. Next we're going to add 1 tablespoonful of lemon juice, and then finally we're going to add the yolk of an egg. To do this we need to tap on the top of it first of all with a knife and then turn the egg back up the correct way and hold it over an empty bowl. We want to catch the egg yolk in the shell of the egg, so just be very careful when you're doing this so that you don't puncture the yolk, and just keep pouring it from side to side so all of the white drips out into the bowl below. When you finish, put the yolk into the bowl with the pastry, and now we can use a fork to start mixing everything around. The mixture should come together quite quickly. And then what we're going to do is just get our hands in and form it into a ball. Now ideally what we want to now do is put this in the fridge for about 30 minutes just to cool it back down again. And then we'll be ready to roll. To roll out the pastry you'll need to liberally sprinkle your work surface with flour and also sprinkle some on top of the pastry as well. Don't press too hard and keep turning the pastry as you go. It's actually quite fragile, you'll find, so you need to be very gentle with the pastry as you lift it and turn it. Once the pastry is large enough, then you can roll the pastry around your rolling pin and then gently unravel the pastry over the top of your tin. Now you want to just gently lift the sides up so that the pastry falls into the bottom of the tin. Try not to handle it too much so that you don't stretch the pastry. and just let it fall in of its own accord as you lift the sides away. To trim the edges of the pastry case, just roll your rolling pin over the top of the tin and then just pull away the excess pastry. Use a knife if you like just to tidy up the edges. And then just break off a piece of the excess pastry, roll it into a ball, and then you're going to use this to smooth down the inside of the flan case. Now take a fork and prick holes in the bottom of the flan case, and this will make sure there's no air bubbles underneath and that it doesn't rise up when we cook it. And then our final job is to make something called a cartouche. And this is basically just a circular piece of baking paper. And we're going to use this to line our flan case so that it doesn't get burnt in the oven, basically, when we're blind baking it. So we fold the piece of paper in half and then in half again. And then you fold it into a triangular shape. And then you keep folding it into a thin triangular shape until you can go no further. And then we just need to measure how big we need it. So what we do is hold the point of the baking paper in the centre of our flan case, and then we just need to leave a couple of centimetres on the outside, and we just snip across with a pair of scissors. So if we unfold it now, you'll see that we've got a lovely circular shape, and we're going to use this now to line our flan case. So just very gently push it down into the corners. And we're going to fill that with either some baking beans or, in my case, some rice, just to make sure that the sides of the flan don't cave in when we cook it. Once you've done that, the flan case will then need to go into the oven for about 20 minutes at 180 degrees. And after 20 minutes, you want to take the baking paper out of the flan case and then just let it carry on cooking for another 10 minutes. Whilst the flan case is cooking, we need to slice up our strawberries and then also make the filling. And we do this by adding our mascarpone to a large bowl, along with our caster sugar, our double cream, and also our vanilla essence. We then use a balloon whisk to mix it all together until the mixture is thick and creamy. Our final job is to fill our flan case with our mascarpone cheese mixture. So use a palette knife or either a spoon or a normal table knife and put the mixture inside the flan case, and then just very carefully, using a rocking motion, spread it out so that it fills all of the edges and goes into the corners. You do need to make sure that your flan case is completely cooled down by this point, otherwise you will find that the cheese will melt. And now all we need to do is lay our strawberries on top. So start on the outside and make sure all of the strawberries are facing in the same direction. and overlap them slightly and work your way round from the outside into the centre. And there you have it. I hope you all enjoy your tarts and I'm very much looking forward to catching up with you all again next time. Take care.